What's up, Supas? It's your Andy, the Super Libra Power, and I welcome back, welcome back to you, welcome back to me too. For those who may or may not have known, I haven't really had a video put out since the lunar eclipse in Libra. Just the fact that I moved, I had a rather abrupt moving journey, as spirit often sets me on. I often do not stay anywhere past 3 to 6 months, so I I love where I am right now. There's a lot of opportunity for growth and patience and change through patience. Also, my Saturn return. I don't know when y'all will be getting this, but my Saturn return begins on the 30th of May, which is in about a week or two. So, I I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I feel like a motherfucking G. I feel like a big badass boss bitch. I feel like the man in me is ready to self actualize, and that makes me feel really, really good. I know that's not how most people feel about their Saturn return, and I feel like, well, how did they say it? I feel like an imposter. I feel like I have imposter syndrome. I feel like, dang, like Saturn's gonna come and like body my ass, but like I have like two Capricorn placements that are pretty major, and then I have two Aries placements, both of which indicate like a past life situation of me doing this shit before. So I don't know. I'm just feeling like, especially like, boom, we gonna get it right this time. like we gonna get it right this time. Like, make no mistake, I'm ready. I was reincarnated into this lifetime for this very exact reason. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling a little. I'm feeling a little empowered. It's like a solid little like baby, I got this. We go lock in. We go focus. We go. And it's not even like a hard forced focus. It's not that, because I've talked about that in my last new moon in Aries reading about like forcing things and trying to going out of your way to take a more receptive stance when trying to make things happen. There's a push and a pull. There's a giving and a receiving in. You don't just take, but you don't just give either. And so in my case, I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm a scientist. I'm testing the waters. I'm testing the limitations. I'm testing the boundaries to evaluate like the kind of results that I'm going to receive. And I can't completely control the outcome. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, if I put like 1 cup of water in the freezer for a minute, expecting, solid ice, within literally 60 seconds, I'm gonna be really disappointed and irritated if I start and end there. If you know what I mean? Like, what the hell am I gonna do? I'm gonna stare at the glass of water angrily until it turns into ice. Like, no, I have to like reevaluate my strategy. There's no sense in getting emotionally like riled up at the results of my efforts, because it really is just an indication of needing to come back and reassess the dynamics and limitations to better suit my needs in getting the results that I want. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to y'all about today. It's really ironic that that's kind of like the wave that we're starting on, with me providing like my anecdotal story, because I kind of pulled this reading because I've been feeling just some apathy, so a deep level of apathy. And I can't recall if that's a similar energy that we covered in the New Moon in Aries video. I think it is. And I feel like the energy is a little different, even in this apathy, but I still feel like it's important for us to like discuss it and address it. So let's begin. As usual, well, as I guess usual, as of the last uh, voiceover video that I did. Please don't play this. Please don't play this. Please don't play this. Yes. I'm playing videos in the background. I'm playing videos in the background. Let's listen to cinema therapy in the background. Toxic or not, Romeo and Juliet. I like watching therapist reviews videos. I hope it's not too loud. Love this movie. It's the Romeo plus Juliet. So from '96, which is my year of birth. So yeah, we got Conti, Romeo and Juliet. Year of my birth. Yeah, so anyway, let's start with the theme of this reading, utilizing my personal tarot spread format. If you've had a personal reading with me before, you are familiar with this format, unless you got a special spread, which happens from time to time when my clients are just like, you know, they just not special as in like better or more unique, but special as in a just different, you know, just like their energy is just like, we're going to derail this reading. We're going to derail your plans, and instead we're going to do our own thing, okay? And you're going to follow our energy instead of you molding and creating the energy or creating the boundary. And I just have to be like, oh, well, okay, I can't fight it. I'm not going to. So yeah, let's start with my superlibrapower format for the spread, starting with the theme at the very top of the reading is the Queen of Swords in reverse. And I feel like, again, this is just going back to the whole like feeling of apathy energy. And I will probably title this reading, oh, new moon in Gemini, blah blah blah. But I really went into this with the intentions of like the week ahead. So it could be a week ahead thing for you. It could be a new moon in Gemini thing for you if you're listening. Utilize it where it applies. But like, I don't know. I just kind of want to do more readings where I just like check in with y'all like in general. I don't know how frequent/infrequent that will be. Typically, I will try to stay on task with the new moon, full moon transits, but I still want to just like see where y'all are at, because sometimes, like I just need the messages. I just need to feel like a part of a collective and to have that kind of respite and safety with other people spiritually. So yeah, this Queen of Swords, yada yada yada, apathy, apathy, apathy. But also, what I'm seeing is like a resistance to change and a resistance to transformation. Why do I get this? So if we look at the card a little bit more intricately, this is an air sign card, and there are animals of flight presented on the card. Really obviously related to the element of air and levity and being above the things. And yeah, I'm just having with it in the reverse, there may be an inability to really see past or see beyond your current situation, possibly due to the fact that you are just in literal physical need of things. You're like, I don't know where this check is going to come from. I don't know where this food is going to come from. I don't know where this babysitter is going to come from. I don't know where this like sofa is going to come from. Like, I don't know. Who am I to say that a sofa is not a necessity? So, there are just like some things in place that are, I just get the feeling that maybe we are trying to simulate old circumstances or old ways of achieving physical or financial security that are just not really panning out in that way, and we are not able to cognitively see beyond. see beyond our circumstances, possibly due to burnout, but again, like apathy. And yeah, my like I said, my eyes are drawn to these animals of flight, animals of levity, animals of cognition and logic, and communication as well. And I just get this feeling of like us bottling up our thoughts or not wanting to share our thoughts, maybe even wanting to give up. And honestly, that's no shade on giving up. As I said that, I felt a kind of like weight moved, like removed from me. So we're dealing with some very interesting energies here that I look forward to delving into a little bit more. Oh, I just realized I left out a card out of this spread. It's okay though, because if it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to force it. Let's talk about where we are presently. It really does speak for itself here with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Like she's like, yep, whatever physical security, stability, affirmation we are looking for, it is gonna happen slowly. Um, this could have something to do with Pluto in Aquarius moving retrograde. I don't think it moves back into Capricorn. Um, from my last research into the Pluto transits, I'm pretty certain it will not retrograde fully back into Capricorn like ever. But Pluto is the planet of transformation. It belongs to the second house in astrology, and the second house in astrology belongs to Taurus. So um, financial. It's our day-to-day finances. So the things that help to make financial security more livable and comfortable in our day to day, as opposed to the eighth house, which rules like shared resources or inheritances and things like that, which belongs to Scorpio. Oh, let me backtrack that a little bit. Right, yes. Pluto rules the eighth house. I'm sorry. Pluto rules the eighth house of transformation and windfall windfall and inheritances, but those things take time. That's the thing, and you have to consistently transform in order for these things to happen. The second house, which is the house of financial, like day-to-day matters, like daily financial matters, belongs to Taurus, which, wouldn't you know, we just moved out of Taurus season and Mercury is currently in Taurus. Don't at me. I'm not sure if Venus is in Taurus or Venus is in Gemini currently. I do not recall, but I know that Mercury for sure is still in Taurus as of this reading. And so the way we communicate, the way our minds work, and the way we move is very slow and methodical and a little bit lazy too. Um, and not lazy as an insult, but just like Taurus kind of demands that you meet them where they're at. Whereas if I'm going to make comparisons here, Scorpio, it's opposite. It's kind of going to meet you where it's at. And that may not like fully resonate for some of my Scorpio natives, but more so I mean that y'all are Mars driven. So you're going to go after what you want, as opposed to Taurus, who is going to, in so little words, attract what they want. And it's not like an exact, it's not one size fits all. You know what? This is going to be a weird reading because I'm about to just check to see where Mercury is. I wouldn't be surprised if it recently just moved into Gemini and I'm tripping. But it could just also be because the sun is in Gemini and that's why I'm confused. Okay, hold on. Let me check my sources. That'll be so interesting if I do actually leave this in. I love it when y'all hear my process. I love when y'all hear from my process, Like sometimes we need a little break. Oh shoot, my app is out of service. Okay. Let me check my second app this week. Shout out to the Channy app. Shout out to Channy Nicholas. Where are we? Transits? No, let's go to the week and see what's going on here. Oh, Mercury doesn't move into Gemini for another few days from where I am today. But by the time the new moon in Gemini like hits off, it will have already been in Gemini for Mercury will already have been in Gemini for like a day. And so with that being said, yeah, interesting. Interesting. That'll definitely make the nature of whatever's happening. I don't know. I do not know, actually. To be honest, I kind of want to change what we have here. And that shouldn't be of any surprise to anyone because Gemini energy is all about like changes. And there is like somewhat of a, I guess I'll say, conundrum of kind of like being rooted and staying present because they're always trying to like tinker and decipher and try something new and to like compel and contrast something. So I do find that interesting with the earth cards that are present in this reading so far. That kind of makes me want to pull more. And so I'm going to. We are going to have a very interesting reading today, and that doesn't surprise me at all because we're already like Sun is in Gemini, Jupiter is still in Gemini, which oh Lord moves into Cancer really soon. But then Uranus also will be moving into Gemini, and girl, I cannot guarantee any feelings of stability. Okay. Wow. Spirit really just like doubled down on it. If anything, with Mercury moving into Gemini, it's possible that like the weight of like feeling like we really, really, really need these physical needs to be met, like the pressure of that could lessen a little bit, but like it's still coming in slow. Like income or physical satisfaction of some sort is still kind of slow. And I just want to remind everyone that like slowness is not a punishment, okay? Slowness is an opportunity to reassess, to refinance, to have more conversations around what it is that you are wanting or looking for. It's about creating a better sense of refinement and ultimately a greater sense of long-term stability because, and I've said this, if not multiple times in my collective readings, I say this often a lot in like my one-on-one readings with my clients, and that is real stability comes from being able to work with changes, comes from flexibility. So we have to remember that, in this life, in this very short time span that we have to be on this earth, to live amongst those who we do end up living with, coexisting with on this planet, humans, as an unfortunate result of capitalism, at least over here at least from what I'm able to gather in the Western world, those who like have to fight and claw their way just to like make ends meet and things, we just want something that will last. We just want something that'll stay the same. We just want to be able to hold on to the things that we cherish for a little bit longer. And I do believe that even in spite of capitalism, like there is a human experience that like, has that like shared. But I just want to propose that I just feel like human beings shouldn't have to deal with that on like a survival capacity, especially at this rate and where we are as like a unified society, and I've said this and I've had this conversation so many times but like it still does not make any sense to me at all that if our world leaders were to get together and like decide on a budget, they could end world hunger like several times over, without any issue. There is plenty of money and resources in the world to literally feed every human being. And yet, you know what I'm saying? And yet, so I really hope for a society where, our wanting, just wishing things will stay, just wishing things will last longer came from, I don't know, like a spiritually social place or a romantic place, like a romantically idealized space, or we deserve to be capable of holding a present reality that we both love and cherish and are able to, have and hold on to, while also wishing and hoping for a better future that is not necessarily at the expense. I don't want to say expense, but like I just find that often many of us who crave for a better future or for a different future are like suffering so much in the now. And I would really like a world that is like not that. But anyway, yeah, yeah. Basically, combined with the spiritual energies of this collective and the astrological ones that are occurring, I think some of that pressure will be removed with, the Taurus energy not being so prominent as we're moving further into the Gemini energy. There's a lot of new energy and new information coming in, and that is why, you know, these energies that are communicating with us want us to be flexible and to be a little bit more open, because if we're too rooted and we're too like stuck in our ways, which is something that Taurus energy can also, be a perpetuator of, then we get left behind and we can't see a world where there are new possibilities that better align with our future as opposed to the now. Like some of us, especially when it comes to earth sign energy, like earth signs are very present. I think they're very like future oriented, but I feel like they also assume that they will want the same things like for an indefinite amount of time. And maybe they would. Maybe they would, but that's not how the rest of the world works. There are other elements on this planet that we all have to like work with and like coagulate with. So, yeah, I think I think the message is about staying flexible, is about staying open-minded. Now, before we go to our paths, I want to talk about our root, which is presented to us as Strength, card of the reverse, and I will be pulling a clarifying card. Okay, so the clarifying card that I pulled was the Six of Wands, which is about victory, which is about confidence in things. Yeah, honestly, I really do get the feeling that the Strength in reverse like is a feeling of like defeatism, and just not feeling proud and not feeling very confident, feeling like you've already lost, or maybe one has reflected upon one's previous losses and they just don't want to be disappointed any further. But the Six of Wands comes in and is just basically saying like roll with the punches, celebrate the wins that you've made thus far. Stop hyper focusing on the little details that have, potentially been mismanaged or neglected, where you deserve to celebrate whether or not you have it all together right now or not. Celebrating the little wins is what moves and pushes us forward. So don't get caught in this depressive loop because you haven't solved everything already. You're not going to solve everything already at any point in time in your life. You know, we are all given certain levels of time, and this is what I also I appreciate astrology so much, because I think astrology really does help us all to acknowledge the importance of time. And when I say importance of time, I don't mean us assigning the importance. What I literally mean is the irrefutable acknowledgement that time does exist, and we as human beings have limited time on this earth. Because we all have limited time on this earth, I feel like the astrological zodiac signs kind of encapsulate this really well. Think about it. Aries season is the season to be proactive, to be an initiative, to be fast, to be new, to encourage newness, and to encourage like action and things like that. But then that only lasts for like 30 days or so, right? 4 weeks. And then we're in a new season. We're in a new energy of Taurus. Excuse me. Of all energies compared to Aries. Taurus is Venusian. Taurus is slow. Taurus is methodical. Taurus is the energy of Taurus is one of harnessing one's own sense of comfort and security and holding those pleasures as tightly and as long as possible. The motivations are different, the expressions of the energies are different, and yet we have no choice but to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how awesome would it be to live in Aries energy for like 3 months? I don't think that would be really good because people are really combative when you have leaders, when you have initiatory energies constantly going at it for an extended amount of time. That's how you end up with wars. And not the wars where people are like taking a step back to reassess and give people time to breathe. Like, no, you just have fights. You just have fights and no one's there are no agreements. There's just my energy, my energy, my energy, and you're gonna take all this shit because I want you to be on my side. It's really funny how Aries energy, like the Aries Libra axes are like the opposites of each other, because Aries in their like headstrong like devotions are really asking, hey, can you agree with me? Can you come with me? Like it comes down to that eventually. Like of course like Aries is just gonna like be themselves and like do their thing or whatever. They reach a point of like this confidence and they're just doing stuff based off of their instincts. But a great portion of their combativeness comes from the fact that they may lack people in their corner giving them material to like work with. So they're forced to do things on their own. But they would love collaboration. They would love for someone else to take up the mantle. They would love for, harmony to an extent. You see what I'm saying? So there's a reason why, certain energies only last for a certain amount of time. And in the time that we are given with them, like that allows us, again, time to work with that, time to experience that. And then we have to move on. Like it's here and then it leaves. And by the grace of Goddess and obviously just astrology and the transits and the planets, depending on where that sign is and the planet that it is in our skies, we might feel it a little bit longer or shorter, depending. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that little tangent. The Gemini energy definitely has me an air sign native, an air sign stellium native, just feeling especially all over the place when I talk. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, confidence is key at this time. Like there is a place in which we are operating from at our core, at our foundations, that have left us feeling particularly powerless, and that needs to change. I will say that I definitely feel like this root application here is being influenced by Neptune and Aries. I feel like if you're watching this reading, if you are, one of my supas, then, and you're here, then, you may come from some shaky foundations that, didn't celebrate you or didn't give you the recognition you deserved or projected a lot of, their own idea of you onto you. and the reality of you was suppressed and locked away, and you weren't able to express yourself. So you might have missed out on key and crucial moments in your development where you were able to stand up for yourself and win and feel like you won something. So yeah, I really do get this feeling that there's a sense of kind of going back to old patterns of just accepting defeat because you are that is something familiar to you. And I just want y'all to know that even if you can't win the battle, like you might be winning the war, so to speak. I really hate making that analogy because like I don't fuck with either of those things. I don't fuck with war. I don't fuck with battles. But they are a current reality in our reality. They don't have to be, but they are current. But there are people fighting against that, against having that being, a reality. What else can I say? Period. And watch movies. Sorry, I don't know if I could have heard that. I wish I could join y'all over on your Patreon. Yep, I'm gonna start playing another video. Woohoo! Yeah, let's examine fat phobia. I don't know if y'all can even hear these videos in the background because I have it low for me so that I can focus on my words. And my thoughts. I'm even having thoughts. I'm just talking. I'm looking at cards and I'm talking. So yeah, I hope y'all got that. I'm still not ready to assess the past just yet. Let's talk about our challenge for this oncoming week or the new moon in Gemini. Whichever applies to you. There's some emotional confusion with the Page of Cups. Like I'm looking at this person. You know what? I think this really doesn't capture the new moon in Gemini quite well. Because I'm looking at a figure examining a cup, examining what is supposed to be the representation of one's own emotions. And they're analyzing it. And they're kind of just staring at it and being like, do something. Do something. This, again, might go back to the feelings of apathy that I described earlier. But I think it may also just be like a feeling of detachment from one's own emotions, potentially due to the fact that, our moon cycle that we're about to enter into isn't particularly at home in the sign of the moon. It is very intellectually based. It is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury does what? It rules logistics and intellectualism and communication. It is very straightforward in that way. But in the iteration of Gemini, it has more to do with the curiosity and the experimentation of words and communication and logistics and travel and such and such. So yeah, I just kind of see it the challenge for this week is just I think is creating a level of detachment from one's own emotions. Because I get the feeling that the things that we are feeling this week aren't reality. We might feel worse than things actually are because again, we are used to this feeling of defeatism. Because our reality is not maybe the subcategory of reality is that I'm going to need X, Y, and Z tomorrow or a week from now or da 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 da. But your present reality is actually we have food to last us this week, or we have food to last us for 3 days. I'm sorry that I go to these intense places, but that's where my personal experiences come from. Sometimes I don't know if I'm going to eat tomorrow or the next day or a week from now. You know what I'm saying? I just personally do not know. So I hate to break it to those that, come to my channel expecting me to be some super omega hotshot who has a bunch of money And resources, I consider myself to be one with a lot of resources, but that's only because I try to put myself in spaces where I have access to community, and that's where my resources come from. Like I'm not. I live in a very like intensely social justice warrior space. I do not have a yearly salary. That is not my experience. That has never been my experience. But I'm hoping I could change that to some degree. You know, at some point, at some point, it doesn't have to look like what's existed before. To me personally, because I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want my finances to reflect things that other people have done before. Like I don't know. You'd have to have a pretty convincing selling point to me or for me in order for me to agree with that, just inherently. I'm not just going to be like, boom, I want to see these numbers and then just take any financial offer from any old person or any old thing or any old company and be like, yeah, this is my sign. Like, nope, specific I have some very specific qualifications for me to feel like my finances are coming from an empowered place. Because if they're coming from a place that's going to make me an indentured servant, I think the fuck not. All right? And there's no indentured servitism when you live in a world of socialism and mutual aid, okay? All right? We all care about each other. We care for each other's well being and want to see each other do well, no matter what side of the spectrum we come from. So, yeah, I'm definitely surprised by my interpretation and reception of this card because I really anticipated, a more Piscean or even Cancerian energy to pour through and be like, hey, yeah, get into your feels. It's kind of asking us to not be super in our feels. It's really just saying like, hey, you need a breather. Like, examine your emotions from like a detached and curious perspective. Can you play with your feelings? I don't know what else to really provide for us in that regard because I just don't know. I feel like that kind of takes away some of the mystery and some of the curiosity that, sets us on, a pathway to adventure and discovery. Now, the card that is on top of the Page of Cups is the Three of Swords in the reverse, which shows us that through a certain level of detachment, we can undo these self-inflicted wounds that we have maybe internalized from going back to our root, feelings of defeatism and feelings of being disempowered in our previous lifetimes or in our, and when I say lifetimes, I don't even just mean like, oh, eons ago or, like in reincarnation, for example, but like, I don't know, the people that I talk to and typically, commune with, our lives 10 years ago are vastly different from the lives we're living now. Our lives growing up are vastly different from, our lives that we're living now for a multitude of reasons. But like, especially in our case, like, I just want to remind y'all that you're not that helpless kid that you were that was totally and utterly dependent on your parents or totally and utterly dependent upon your immediate social environment. You have a lot more options to choose from. You just have to go searching for them. You have to do the digging. And sitting around feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to help. You need to be like figuring it out. And I'm really sorry if this comes off as cold. For the most part, with the type of reader that I am, I'm very emotional. I'm someone who is very like, I love and I honor emotions, and I love like feeling things. That's a great part of the reason why I consider myself an intuitive, because I love feelings. But I really do feel like in this case that like being too overtly, our feelings right now, again, are rooted in a place of disempowerment. So it's really best for us to not take our feelings to heart too much. Focus on your reality, focus on what you can do, and focus on making your reality a more fun and curiously explorative place. I forgot to make this known in the beginning of this reading, but This reading has everything to do with transparency. All the cards on the spread right now, except for one, which I will reveal pretty soon, I pulled looking at them. I split the deck, I opened it, and just looked at them and put them where I wanted. I put them where I wanted on the, where I felt was appropriate on the spread. It's like, yeah, there's just like this feeling that like we need to be open with ourselves. We need to be transparent about the stories that we tell ourselves, because hiding them and keeping them in the dark is only going to make us feel more like shit, is only going to make us feel more disempowered. This is not the time to be holding this stuff in. There's a time and place for those things. There's a time and place to hold on to our feelings. There's a time and place to hold on to our thoughts and opinions and joy and goals and aspirations and things. And like, this time is not it. Okay, like get that shit out in the open. Like, be honest with yourselves. Talk to a partner. Talk to your significant other. Talk to your children. Okay, talk to your pet. Talk to your friends. Be honest with your community. Do you have safe and honorable community to express yourself genuinely with? Do you or don't you? If you don't, maybe that needs to change. Because this level of transparency is going to be the thing that allows all of us to connect in a significantly intimate way, and will help us all to better like connect with one another and help each other ultimately. Which, I get the feeling that, that's the problem that is being, highlighted in this reading. Like this energy, the energy of this reading with the collective feels very edgy. It feels very edgy. It feels very like it's taking me back to being emo, and like, again, like, no shade at all. Like, I'm not trying to be patronizing. But what I am saying is that, like, again, there's just this feeling of wanting, like these feelings are comfortable, these feelings are familiar, and we are expecting that in the familiarity of these feelings and holding on to them in this way will guarantee us salvation, in a sense, because maybe in the past that's how it worked before. Like, we grew up being like socially ostracized and repressed and not being capable of speaking up for ourselves, and then suddenly it became socially acceptable to do those things, or we found our niches in things, and like, it was okay. And so in this instance, I get the feeling that maybe some of us here feel like, subconsciously, you may not be consciously aware of this, but you're like, if you allow yourself to get depressed enough, then you'll find yourself on the other side of the spectrum one day and everything will be magically fixed. And that's just not the reality of our situation anymore, okay? That's not how it's going to happen this way. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a different time now. We are in an age of communication and of information, and maybe we have to move a little bit differently, but like, we have access to a greater portion of the world. I know a lot of us online were exposed to a lot of like stupid shit and a lot of stupid people's opinions, but that is also by design, okay? That is by design. And I just implore all of us here to take advantage of, curating our timelines and things like that, or taking some time away from the screen, just as examples. Just ask yourself how much you are absorbing versus how much you are like exerting. But like, also, if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, like if you're not leaving any room for any discussion to be made, I would like to ask you why you feel the need to do that, why you feel the need to just like talk without offering the space for other opinions. And I don't mean like morally objectively wrong opinions to come into your space. Like, no, like, if you're just not allowing people to like express different opinions, then you're not really one of diversity, don't you think? Yeah, I'm over here shuffling. I pulled temperance. Like, all things in moderation, including moderation, okay? I don't know what else to really say. Uh, I hate going over the past. I don't want to go over the past, but I'm debilitating between the past and the future. So let's just go to the past before we go to the future, okay? The past. The past is where we've come from, but it may also be, again, where we want to go back to. So the past that is being illuminated in this reading is the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Now I'm going to pull a clarifying card because on its own I really don't know what it means. No, not that card. Not that card. Let's just pull the card on top. I pulled the Knight of Wands in the reverse. I still feel something else, but it's like not as clear. Let's go with this one. Oh, okay. Yeah. So in congruence with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, with the Knight of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Cups upright, like, yeah, I really do feel like that's going back to what I was saying about the emotions thing, and feeling like if we bottle up our feelings and emotions again, particularly those of the horrible kind, if we just keep reliving those, then the universe will respond to us in a, oh, my poor baby, let me balance the scales and make everything super bright and shiny and sunny all the time, you know? It's definitely giving bipolar, for sure. It's definitely giving that. And it feels strategic in a way. Like subconsciously, it's like, well, if I am so low, if I allow myself to get so low, then obviously the so high will come in at some point and save me, deliver me from hell. And yeah, that's just not the circumstance. That's not the circumstances we're being presented with right now. The Knight of Wands in the reverse is like, yeah, it's just kind of giving like no one is coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. No one is coming to defend you. Again, these may be feelings that we had in the past, growing up, for example, or from our last shitty situation. It could have been a horrible relationship. It could have been a horrible business partnership. It could have been horrible work practices where no one was standing up for us. And subconsciously, we internalize, like once things got good at some point, we internalize subconsciously that like, oh, well, if bad things keep happening to me, and I am powerless, then the good things will magically come in and just change everything for me, and I won't have to worry about anything anymore. But you got to remember that you're creating a cycle here. So do you want to keep going back and experiencing the deep, dark depression just so that you can feel like an ultimate high? Or are we trying to create a world of interchangeable experiences so that we can live a holistically balanced life, where the bad things don't always have to feel super duper plummetly apocalyptic, and the good things aren't like super duper ultra heavenly style salvation? I know comparatively you're probably saying Nair or Nair, depending on the day. Why would I not want super omega heaven level pleasure and enjoyment in this lifetime? Why would I not want that, like, at some point? And baby, I say this because you're gonna be waiting a long time. Do you really want to wait a long time just to have one giant pinnacle of goodness last for a short amount of time, last for, I don't know, 6 to 10 years, and then we're back in hell again? Like, I just need you to be honest with yourself about what it is that you actually want, because it sounds like you can hardly deal with your day-to-day inconveniences as is, when it would be really nice if you could just allow yourself to feel something, like, not like even something small, nice in your day-to-day life, like that coffee you wanted, or the matcha with the boba. Like, thank goddess for those, right? Or like you get to drink a nice blended smoothie today instead of like applesauce for the past week or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a means of integrating like happiness and joy in our life every fucking day, and not just waiting for these sudden giant bursts of change to come abruptly upon us because we quote unquote deserve it because we suffered long enough. Like, let go of that narrative. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And I say that a lot, but it's true. It is true. I wouldn't be able to speak of it if I didn't experience it. I literally have BPD. I'm over here swerving from one extreme to the next every few seconds. That's why I do tarot. I'm like, look, I get to feel this while discussing this energy in this place, and then I get to feel this while discussing this energy in this place. Like, I am a raving lunatic. Like, I'm not taking any of that away. But let's let's there's nothing wrong with intensity, okay? There's nothing wrong with wanting to live a life full of passion and sensation and you know transformative experiences. But if you are allowing yourself to miss out on life every day just to feel that one gigantic high, I can think of another experience that would give you a pretty gigantic high, and it'll be the last high you ever feel. If you even like cognitively feel it at all, because I wouldn't know, because I am alive. So, yeah, I'm imploring my listeners to blend pleasure into their day-to-day lives. And I really want to, like, express that that's the reality of what Taurian energy wants to express to us. I mean, and the Gemini energy, too. It's just less, like, it's, like, less, like, bodily sensation and more, like, imaginative, intellectual mouthfeel stimulation with Gemini. But you deserve a life lived where you can experience both pain and pleasure in small light doses. I told a client the other day, like, let's microdose these gigantic experiences in our lives. Okay, let's work on microdosing so that we can actually have a chance to work at like bigger climaxes. Okay, there's something that I personally wrangle with in my day to day, in my like deep inner cognition, being aware that on some level, and you know what, y'all can call me a megalomaniac, it's okay, I will own that. I have a Neptune in Capricorn. I control everything. Please bear with me, okay? I swear, I'm not a solipsist. Okay, I do not have solipsism. I control everything. In my reality, I control everything. If I do control everything, and I acknowledge on some level that I need good and bad, that I need to have balance in my life, then that means I can create the quote unquote bad circumstances that permeate in my life. And when I decide upon what that is, then what I also decide is how I get to solve it. You know what I'm saying? I decide. If I make all this shit, and I do, and you do too, we all do, we all play a part in each other's heaven and hells, in the shared collective reality that we all collectively experience on a subconscious level that eventually translate to our outer experiences. Ask yourself, what kind of problems are you actually creating for yourself? Like I need you to own that. Like, own that shit. Own that shit. Because once you own it, then you can own the steps to problem solve your way out of it. Like, ask yourself, why do I have this problem? What am I trying to teach myself through this problem that I keep having? Okay? And then again, like, because some of us out here, we, like, you know, when it comes to those of us that end up with these high highs and we get our high highs and we're like, yes, finally. And then like that feeling of doubt starts to creep in. Well, do I really deserve this? What did I do to really deserve this? How long before it gets taken away? And then I'm like, okay, bro, you said you really wanted this. This was supposed to be the super omega magnum opus, and now there are these creeping like feelings of doubt coming in. Like, what's that all about? So I'm just asking all of us here today, especially with Neptune being in Aries and like asking for personal self accountability, and literally in the world of dreams and subconscious, I'm literally asking you, I'm asking me too, how am I contributing to the problems that are persistent in my life? What am I asking myself to solve? Can I solve them? And if you cannot or have trouble solving them, then that's when we need to actually mitigate and delegate those issues to other people, which I know it's easier said than done. And again, I know probably a few of us here are in this reading wishing someone would help us, and we're not being helped right now, okay? And if that's your issue right now, I just want you to know that help is on the way soon, okay? You want to know why it's on the way soon? Because you believe that help will come. There's a part in you that knows that you cannot be left out here alone in this way that you are. And you wouldn't be expressing yourself in this way or asking for the help that you are if you weren't capable of receiving that help in some way. You just have to be open to the possibilities and the ways that it comes about, like revealing itself to you. And that might be different from person to person, okay? And if it's not, then clock me. Then talk about it in the comments, please. Because your experience is still a unique one. And you could educate someone else who is, more akin to you. Because those people exist out there. You're not alone. You're allowed to be unique and special and still receive a certain level of community and camaraderie. It's okay. You can get that here. I hope you can get that here. All right. So we talked about the past. I know this reading is pretty long so far. Thank you for sticking around. I really want to go over the ancestor message, which is literally the only card here that is not transparent. Which is not transparent. It was not flipped over on the reflective side as all the others are. It is still on the hidden side. So I'm going to flip that over now. 10 of Wands. Yeah. This is beautiful. This 10 of Wands in reverse shows someone who has bit off more than they could chew and needs help. Okay, let's get into that a little bit more. What's the deal with the needing help? We just went over that, okay? You're probably saying like Nair or Nair, depending on the day. You know I need help. That's why I'm here. We already talked about that. Obviously, I need help. And I'm like, okay, person, okay, multiple people here. This is not a one-size-fits-all type of reading, and obviously you're going to have to do some work to, make this apply to you in some instances. But because I love you and because I come from a people-pleasing background, I'm just kidding. I do, but that's not where this is coming from. It actually is just coming from the fact that I love to acknowledge and receive the differences that all sorts of people have. And because of that, it deeply intrigues me to see all the ways that different people's problems can be solved in intricate ways, because I think you're all special and unique, and I want to see you all's special and unique problems be solved in special and unique ways. So let's talk about it. So that's 10 of Wands. For some of y'all, it's definitely saying delegate these tasks to other people in your household or other people on your team, whatever it is that you're going through. That's what the ancestors are saying. Delegate some of these tasks to the motherfucking ancestors as well. Okay. I feel like these issues, again, have a lot more to do with your power source, where your sense of power comes from, because these are wands and that's the element of fire. And we already talked about at our root, a lot of us here have come from backgrounds of disempowerment or mismanagement and neglect. And I don't know, I'm getting that y'all are trying to juggle a little bit too much, energy wise. I don't know. That's a little fishy to me. But what I will say is that some of y'all need to delegate tasks, whereas others, y'all are too focused on the outcome. Y'all are too focused on the outcome, and y'all are trying to hold everything all at once because you think it's going to get you to your destination faster, and you are wrong. You're going to burn yourself out. This figure in this card, look, her back bent over. Why is she bent over like this? Why are these Why are these sticks not like in her arms log style, holding them like horizontally? She could be saving her back. She could be saving her arms, her hips, her legs. You know what I mean? Like, there's this thing here that where it's just like you need to do what is actually like realistic for your body and for like your expectations. Even if this is like a mental thing as well, like don't put more on your mental than you're actually prepared to handle, okay? Because that's how you and other people get hurt. And that's something I've been having to tell myself too. And I feel really, really bad about it because, you know, the things I'm thinking about on the day to day is like helping people. Well, I'm really think every day I'm thinking about myself, but then I start to see that other people need help and I feel bad that I'm thinking about myself when other people are like kind of more presently in my face or in my line of view. And I'm just like, well, how could I come online and ask for help or like promote my services when there are people right in front of me that are literally asking for help and they don't want to be ignored? And like, it literally hurts me. It legitimately hurts me. And I hate it because like, I don't hate that I'm hurt necessarily, but it does make me upset that I am not even able to like say, like tell myself that like, hey, Nair, it's okay. You don't have to feel this way for other people right now because obviously like our life may not be worse or better than another person's, but that doesn't mean that your problems aren't valid and it doesn't mean that you're not struggling either. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I know this inherently, I know this because this is what I tell myself to encourage myself to, you know, help other people and to like, and you know, and to put myself in a position to help other people. I tell myself this. I'm like, well, my life isn't better or worse than anyone else. And even if I'm struggling, let me go ahead and help someone else too. Okay. Uh, but like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. It's just not like that all the time. And again, we started this reading kind of like, at least as far as our present was concerned, it's like real stability comes from flexibility. And we all need to be capable of allowing like new energy and new perceptions and new forms of assistance to come in so that we can continue to grow and change and evolve and while still getting the help that we need and still feel validated and still feel like we're being taken care of. And if we don't feel like we're being fully taken care of, then by all, let's hope that whatever means we are receiving this particular help will will at least lengthen our lifespan or our energy span so that we can come back and, you know, honor the need that we had then now because we're actually capable of that now because we have the energy to do that now because we have the health to do that now because we have the mental and emotional and maybe even physical capacity to tackle that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop overloading yourself. And then again, like, yeah, I may be repeating the same thing, but like some of y'all could be holding, y'all need to take like 1 to 3 sticks at a time and then come back for the rest. Or call up a friend and ask if they can carry some. Because, yeah, you doing too much. Just be straightforward. You doing too much. We doing too much, okay? I'm doing too much too. I know I am. My mind is already in like multiple places. So like I kind of feel that like extraction happening. Like I already feel myself pulled into many different directions. So like it's kind of been, since the sun moved into Gemini, it's been a little harder for me to even like be fully present to like feel the weight and the load of some of the things that I'm stressing about. It's really at the point where like I can't even sit on this long enough. I'm sorry. Like I can't even, like I gotta keep moving. You know, like I ultimately want to solve the problem. Obviously I do. Absolutely. Completely. With my whole heart and my whole soul. But like me sitting here, like being sad about it really is not going to do something. I need to do something. And sometimes the direct option is not, it's not the only way. Like, again, I think that goes back to what I was saying. Like, some of y'all out here think that y'all can carry, like, it doesn't matter if your back hurts. It doesn't matter if you're getting walked over. It doesn't matter if uh, like, how much you're extending yourself as long as you get to where you need to go. And it's like, no, because you're going to get where you are trying to go in pieces and in fragments, you know? Unrecognizable to the self. Like, where did you leave yourself before you made it to this point? You were in pursuit of all this agency physically that you lost who you were trying to become. So anyway, let's get to the end of the story. I know this is really, really long so far. And again, I invite y'all to like discuss and even clock me in the comments, especially if there's like, I feel a certain type of way about talking about people's bodies in these readings, because people have different existences when they're their own bodies and within the way that their bodies function. And I do not want to create a feel of like a unified experience in regards to how one's bodies and energy levels work. I know that is not true for everyone, and I don't want to put that truth. I mean, it's not a truth, it's a lie. I don't want to put that lie onto everybody. I don't want to make that like a unified thing. But like, it still stands. Like, if there's something in particular that you are asking for and it is just not within reach right now, put it down, man. Put it down. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? If you feel some type of way about me saying like, oh, you're just trying to reach a high, you're making yourself feel depressed. Some of us are, man. Again, I have BPD. I will relive the same emotions over and over and over just to get a feeling out, just to feel something, bro. Like, I would not be surprised if many others, especially within the neurodivergent category or even trauma victims, are doing a lot of the same thing. We do what we know. And sometimes what we know isn't good for us, but it's comfortable, and subconsciously we believe that if this happens again, then we can also be rescued in the same way. If we have been rescued before, Or if we don't do anything, then something will just change. Something will. And all I'm saying is that, like, well, maybe at one point it would have, but that's not the energy we're working with right now. That's not what we're being told is the situation, the reality of the situation right now. So what happens at the end of all this, okay? What happens at the end of this? What happens at the end of this week? If this is like a weekly reading, what happens? So the card that I'm seeing here is the Eight of Cups, okay? The card that I'm seeing here is the Eight of Cups. And honestly, what I'm getting from this is that I feel like what I'm getting is that there is an emotional depth that we have yet to really uncover for ourselves yet. And I can honestly just believe that off rip, because again, when it comes to those who are neurodivergent and or are trauma victims, because we're so used to the same feelings over and over and over being perpetuated in like these patterns and cycles and it leaves us less room to experience feelings outside of that dichotomy. And so with the outcome that I'm seeing is that like, well, you may find some new things about yourself as a result of allowing yourself to be detached from your emotions a little bit. With this new moon in Gemini, you might find new things about yourself by allowing yourself to take your time and not actively go after immediate physical gratification. You may find new things about yourself when you allow yourself to be proud of the little wins that you make in life as opposed to the big, big, big ones. Like, actually sit with that. Like, actually be present with that. Especially when we live in a world where like social media is like everywhere and a lot of us are glued to our phones. Like, we're constantly just looking at the next thing And you can go from, and I talked about this before in the solar eclipse in Aries reading, but like you go from seeing, some babies graduating and being happy to like seeing somebody get shot. You know what I'm saying? And like now you're engaging with that shit and then arguing with folks in the comments that are like, man, that nigga deserved to get shot. You wanna know why? Because he wore a hoodie in a suburban area. Yeah, y'all already know what I'm talking about. So like that's what I'm saying, yo. Like you don't like. I feel like true defeatism again is when you just kind of allow yourself to like hold all the shit in, like just feel like shit and hold it, and then expect for something to just miraculously change. Not to say that miracles don't exist and that they won't come, but don't allow yourself to create this cycle of like extreme pain and then flipping to the immediately opposite side of the spectrum of like ultimate crazy pleasure, you know? Like don't switch back and forth. Like you need to build yourself some kind of a platform of getting from one feeling to the next and allowing yourself enough time and space, even if it has to be a little bit, okay? Like you gotta celebrate those little wins. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell people, what kind of time they have because I don't know and I'm not y'all. And I already suck with time anyway, bro. Like I'm not even gonna hold you. I do not have. I am up at what time is it? It is 3:47 a.m. Do you know what happened 4 hours ago? I was asleep for 2 hours. 3 hours? I think I fell asleep around like 9:30, 9:45, and then I woke up at like midnight in 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And like now I'm up at 3 o'clock, and there's no telling when I'm gonna go back down. Like I got 2 to 3 hours of sleep, man. Like what am I gonna do? Like when it's time to collect on those next 5 to 6 hours, like hey yo, man, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know when I'm going down. So, like I'm saying, like I don't know. We do what we can with the time that we are given and that we are able to make for ourselves. I'm just saying, like however much time you have, like allow yourself a moment to breathe, allow yourself a moment of pleasure and to enjoy, like however that looks like, okay? And don't carry more than you can carry. Allow other energies to come in. Allow community, family, your significant other, your pet to come in and like give you the reassurance and levity that you need. I mean, hey, even if it's like media or music or something like that too, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need more of that in your life. But don't rob yourself of new emotional experiences and new experiences of pleasure and curiosity and exploration because you think that unless you're just like constantly thinking about the bad thing that's going to happen that could happen, that is the only means in which you can like receive assistance and receive respite. Okay, that's not how life works, and it's not how it should work. And I just want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what would a life where that's not true look like, and take accountability of that. Okay, we're all in this together. So, do I have anything else to say? I really could. I could keep going, honestly. I wish I were on live. I wanted to do a live, but in Gemini, air sign, energy fashion, I really just could not just like decide on any one thing, and I didn't want to do a live, and no one showed up, and then I'm just talking, like, and then the way these algorithm things are set up, like, I just didn't want to deal with it, so I did this instead. Please help me to keep doing this. You're more than welcome then to donate money my way. You're more than welcome to send me like comments of compliments. You're more than welcome to send tarot decks my way. Help me make this an enjoyable experience for all of us. If you want me to continue to be your medium, I love doing this work. I love exploring all these things. And again, I have APD and I'm a little addicted to sensations. So I do love feeling all these energies and getting deep down and dirty into all these possible like realities, because it keeps my mind fresh and it keeps my existence fresh, and it doesn't keep me in any one place for too long. And sometimes I need that. Okay, um, sometimes I need that. Uh, I have to have that. And I struggle with homelessness cyclically for a decade now, like officially. And like it just energy changes. Energy changes for me. Energy shifts, and then I gotta follow it. Um, when I'm able to create a world and reality that allows me for both flexibility and stability in like a physical capacity, that'll be a really awesome day. And I think I'm on the pathway of creating that now, especially the less anxiety I fuel and pump into my brain, telling me that if I do not stress myself out about this mentally, it will not get done. Then I'm actually just able to like be present in my own energy and like enjoy the energy that I'm being present in, and like do the things that I love to do and spend more time on that. So yeah, I guess I'm done with this reading. I hope you've enjoyed. I would love to do this some more. Do book me. Do send your happy thoughts. Do send your, how this has helped you. Do share with your friends and significant others in your communities, because I do this because I love it, but I do it because I know that this can help other people too, and I've helped lots of other people before. And that's also why I do this, because I've always been someone to give an excessive amount of emotional labor, and what did I have to show for it? Nothing but having all these people's emotional experiences regurgitated out of me and living through their experiences with them, and that really sucked. So I prefer to get paid for it. You know what I mean? Like, thank you. I will get paid for processing other people's emotional traumas and things, and actually helping to build them a pathway with the help of both spirit energy and with the energy that the planets are able to project down upon all of us. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and come back again soon. And yeah, bye.